Today I want to show you how to solve equations that involve subtraction. This is textbook page 455. On these problems, these are all problems that involve a variable with subtraction. I am going through the process of solving these as if they are complicated problems because I want you to be used to solving the problems as if they are complicated. On the first problem, we're trying to solve for t. And so we're going to draw the line at the equal sign just to keep the problem organized. We know that we're trying to isolate the variable t, and t is being subtracted by 7. To solve for t, we want to perform the inverse operation of subtracting 7, so we add 7 to both sides. Once you add 7 to 2, you get 9, and so t is equal to 9. And here at the bottom is where I check the solution. So I substitute 9 in for t, and I'm going to think, and I'm going to write 9 minus 7, does it equal 2? The answer is yes. If both sides come out equal, then it is correct. I'm going to pause for a moment so that you can write that down. And then we're going to move on to problem number 4. For problem number 4, we have a minus 2.1 equals 5.8. We're trying to solve for the variable a. A is being subtracted by 2.1, and it is equivalent to 5.8. Right here, we're trying to isolate the variable a. A is being subtracted. We want to perform the inverse operation. The inverse of subtracting is adding. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. If you don't, the equation will become unbalanced. So we add 2.1 to each side, and a is going to be equal to 7.9. Once you have that a is equal to 7.9, you want to substitute it back into the original equation and make sure that it is equivalent, that both sides are equivalent. So I'm saying 7.9 minus 2.1, does it equal 5.8? The answer is yes. Therefore, I know my solution is correct. Problem number 6, we have 4.6 equals e minus 3.2. We want to solve for the variable e, although it's on the right hand side. That's okay. E is being subtracted. You want to perform the inverse operation. The inverse of subtracting is adding. So you want to add 3.2 to both sides. 4.6 plus 3.2 is going to be 7.8. We've isolated the variable. Now we're going to check it. The 7.8 minus 3.2 equal 4.6. We come down here, we do the work. The answer is yes, therefore it works. Now, on problem number 7, Pete is 15 years old. So I'm going to start with the number 15. This is, so I'm going to make that an equal sign, 6 years younger than his sister Victoria. Younger than, more than, less than. Again, those are two words, which means that what is first comes second. Younger than, older than, more than, less than. Remember in the last unit, we talked about those being two words, and what comes first goes second. More than, less than. Same applies here. And so what is first actually goes second. And so that's why I wrote Victoria minus 6 instead of 6 minus Victoria. Because whatever her age is, he's 6 years younger. So the equation for this one is V minus 6 equals 15. We're going to have, we're trying to isolate the variable V, which means that we need to get rid of subtracting 6 by adding 6. What you do to one side, you do to the other. 15 plus 6 is 21. And so Victoria is going to be 21 years old. And that makes sense. Pete is 15, and this is 6 years younger than Victoria. Now we're going to jump down to the fractions, and we're going to look specifically at problem number 12. Now, problem number 12, we're trying to isolate the variable s. I drew my line at the equal sign. Once we cross that line, we have to perform the inverse operation. The inverse of subtracting is adding. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So we have 7/9 adding 1/3. I did change 1/3 to ninths just because I want a common denominator. And so 7/9 plus 1/3, I'm changing this to have a common denominator of 9. So I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 3. And that's going to give me 3/9 on this one plus 7/9. So now I'm adding 7/9 plus 3/9, and I end up with 10/9. And I simplify that to a mixed number, and that becomes s is 1 and 1/9. To check it, I'm going to have 1 and 1/9 minus a third. Keep in mind that a third was 3/9. So if you have 10/9 and you subtract this 1/3, which is 3/9, you will be left with 7/9. And so it works out. Your assignment for this page are the following problems: 1, 3, 5, 8, 10, 11, and 13. And then you're going to turn the page over, and you're also going to do number 18. Once you finish these problems, you're going to tear this page out neatly. Put your name at the top of the page here, your name, and you're going to turn it in today before you leave. If you need to go back through any of the problems, feel free to rewind the video.